Device Technologies was formed 22 years ago, 1992. Where we placed and why are we doing this? The most important thing is, I think, in this marketplace is that being a private company, we can actually search the world for the latest technology. And that's what we do in this business. So what we do, we don't only do that, we don't just bring a product in and we don't just sell the product. What we do is we also support the product. We have something like 70 engineers who work for Device Technologies, only work for Device Technologies, and support just our product. So
as Peter said, we've got a lot of gear out there that is mostly hospital-based, but can be transformed into the defence and emergency environment. Most of the platforms are digital, whether it's patient monitoring, vital signs monitoring, wirelessly or connected, and we make sure that the resources that you require will be deployed when you need them deployed, and that'll be via Connor and Peter.
Again, like Device, it's a privately owned company, it's Australian. That gives us a lot of flexibility. We only represent those companies we think are the best in the market. Prior to setting up Mobilis Medical, OPEX Systems were involved quite heavily with the National Critical Care and Trauma Response Centre. Very good at is the infrastructure. So we'll provide the shelters, the ECUs, the electrical backup generators. What Device do is provide all of that medical equipment that would go into that field hospital capability. So we think it's a pretty good union. Just introduce you to Don Diesel. Don is the president of BlueMed. Don, which is a subsidiary of Alaska Structures. They're probably one of the biggest shelter suppliers in the world. From his experience, both within defence, Don was a lieutenant colonel in the US Air Force, and then as president of BlueMed, of setting up a field hospital either in a defence or civilian capacity in an austere environment.
As you step into this type of environment, it's pretty jaw-dropping. You see trees, limbs ripped from trees. I've seen tornadoes that winds were so strong they pick up the pavement and just strip the pavement right off the ground. But it also destroyed one of the greater medical capabilities within that community. Several hundred people worked here. They successfully evacuated 183 patients. So it was very important to them to, as quickly as possible, establish a new facility. That building there is a 9-story concrete building. Every window in the building was blown out. Like I said, it was dead center in the path of this tornado. It actually shifted the building off of its foundation. The only way of doing that was to bring in a hospital quickly. Once you get it there, the setup time is not just how long it takes you to set up your buildings, but also you've got to move in the equipment, you've got to set up the electrical grid. And what is very important about the mobile hospital, they want a facility that is going to be safe. They want something that's going to be resistant to high wind loads, maybe snow, good temperature control, especially in the heat. How are you going to set up? Are you going to wait till the whole thing is set up? Are you able to establish power to the entire facility? Or can you set it up module by module and power up each module as you go? They took pride in the fact that they were able to keep their hospital functional in the face of this disaster. With good preparedness planning and with the right equipment, they were able to make this happen. A Tiger team or a development team for the U.S. Air Force EMEDS program, Expeditionary Medical Support Program. So I got to see that ConOps. At about the same time, we brought the EMEDS concept to a commercial provider of the shelters. There was 11 different hospitals that were compromised or destroyed. They wanted 3 200-bed mobile field hospitals. So what you're looking at is just one of those 200-bed hospitals with the staff housing enough to supply sleeping quarters for 150 persons. They wanted something that had been used operationally by the military, something that had been tested and proven operationally. The snow load measurement is a good indicator of structural integrity, reliability of a system. At least 20 cycles without damage. A little over 30 meters long and 6 meters wide. They required it to be air transportable, sling loadable. When I say intensive care bed, it's the bed and all of the equipment that's associated with it. It's supposed to be able to set the facility up in 72 hours. And that's just a rat's maze of of the facility. When we first did this, the first time, people were getting lost in there. They couldn't find their way out. We were to track and replenish the consumable supplies. We're anticipating when the big one hits, we will gladly respond and help out